Good morning, Doug and Marie.
Good morning.
Morning.
Mike in the forest.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Mike. You're in the
Good
forest.
morning. Garbage. Where's the boss? man?
Werner and Mike, did you guys make your calls?
No, I've been crazy busy on quite a few other things. I intend to get to that.
Sounds good. I know it's one of those things where you're like, do I really want to do that or just push this aside?
Oh no, it's not. Do I really want to do it? I drove, like, what was it? Jim and I had something going on. I drove 110 miles yesterday.
Oh, dang.
Pretty
Yeah,
busy.
so,
I hear you though. I got to get on that. Be busy like crazy if we can pull them off like Todd did on his first call.
How many people showed up to the cold calling clinic?
We had a full meeting room.
Wow.
There was 5 of us.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah.
Well, where in the heck is the boss man over?
He's probably locking down a big sale.
So do any of you guys use Redex?
That is a good question.
I signed up for Redex, and in order to get the expired, you got to import the data from the MLS, and Redex has got a virtual whatever assistant, and it wants you to give them your MLS username and password, and I thought that was like next to never you're not supposed to do that. I thought that was a violation of whatever agreement to give anybody access to your MLS account.
So, is there a way to download the data and upload it manually?
Every day yourself, yeah.
Gotcha.
But that kind of defeats the purpose of having a service. Why would you pay for a service when you have to do it yourself?
Yeah. No. That makes total sense. Well, the purpose of the service is just to have the speed dialer, right?
Well, no, that's extra. That's another charge.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to look into this. Well, I guess we'll just popcorn it. Does anybody have any pressing issues they want to talk about or troubling them or...
Redex.
Everybody's businesses are rocking and rolling and tearing it up. Anybody doing open house this weekend?
I wish.
No open houses. Wow, that's a surprise.
yes, I did an open house. It was good.
Ah, did you do it on your Lake Stevens listing or did you do a different one?
It was a different one. One for Todd.
Okay.
For that 1.2 million.
Where was this at?
It was over in Bothell area.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd
Turned out
that
pretty
go?
good. It was a good amount of people. Probably a good 8 groups showed up, and day before it was like 16 people, but I didn't do the day before. It was what's his name, Jermaine.
Oh, excellent.
So yeah, definitely a different type of people. But I did learn a big lesson is that, usually when I'm doing an open house for somebody else, I got to know everything about that house because I hate saying, I don't know. When it's my listing, you can ask me any questions, but when it's somebody else's, I got to do more research and probably do like a walkthrough even before doing the open house, just because for me, especially in that price point, if they ask a question and you don't know the answer, that's like one red flag for them choosing to be your agent, and it's just like, gosh. And some people ask some weird questions. I'm like, what the heck? Since this one had like big, it was a big lot and it was 2 acres, and they were asking almost everybody where the freaking property line was, and I was like, dude, I don't freaking know, But I gave them like a map and then just gave them an idea because they were asking, oh, is this included with the property or is this and this? I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, I literally don't know, I don't know, and just stuff. So that's one thing, one big learning experience I learned. But yeah, it was interesting.
You can always say, let me call the listing agent too.
Yeah. I'm trying to do that when Todd is a listing agent because he's doesn't pick up most of the time. But yeah, I guess that's just one of the things big learning experience to really learn when it's somebody else's listing, that's for sure.
Well, Jose, the other good thing is, though, when they ask questions like that, you go, hey, give me your phone number or your email. I'll get the information for you because I'm not sure, but let me get that information for you, and you've got a reason to reach out to them.
Mm-hmm. I always get their information from the start, so I always check them in and get it. So I have it either way.
It gives you an excuse to reach out to them rather than just, thanks for coming to my open house.
Right. Good point.
No, absolutely. Now you've got. So did they have a question you couldn't answer, and then you were able to get the answer after they're gone?
Yeah, most of the time. And then I was just following up, but then most of them just changed their mind, so they didn't really care anymore. But yeah, it was just about the roof. What happened here, and why are the sellers selling, and just like, what are these tubes coming out from the back? And when was the septic last pumped? I'm just like, holy moly, dude. Todd was like, dude, Todd didn't even know most of the questions. He had to ask the seller, the owner.
Well, the thing is if you reach out to them after the open house with answers to their questions, you're better than 90% of the open house agents. Most people say, I never heard from them again, even though I had questions I really wanted answered.
Right.
Do you feel like a lot of them were really viable buyers, or do you think they were looky-loos because of the price range?
No, most of them were I guess a good percentage of them was looky-loos, and then some were like actually serious into looking, and that they've tried before, but they lost some offers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where we're at. Some of them I can just read the situation where they like to be left alone and just cruise around. Because I called the other lady and she's like, "Oh, okay, yeah. If there's another property that I want to go see, I'm gonna call Ref in like how I did." And then I was just like, whatever, because I was like, I'm good.
But that's your objection that gives you the opportunity to respond back and say, but don't you want somebody who's committed to you and cares about you?
Yeah. I mean, but I read the situation when I met her in person, and she's, I rather just not deal with someone like that, to be honest.
Oh, she didn't have like respect for real estate brokers.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm good. And I think I saw my card outside, like in the ground. So I'm good. So I don't know if it was, I'm pretty sure it was female, but
you're like, I know it was her. I know it was
I
her.
know it was her. I'm like, "Yeah." But it's because you can tell right away when they're iffy about giving you their info in the beginning. But I'm like, hey, this is my open house and it's per the owner's request. So I
Yeah.
think that's one thing that draws people away. But yeah.
I've heard in other states and other areas, some people actually lock the front door and make them, get screened before they let them in. And, they're pretty serious about who they let in, to make sure they've shown their ID and, they're actual viable buyers, and instead of, entertainment for people.
So no one gets in without a pre-approval letter, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And showing ID and all that.
That's pretty cool.
I can
I can
see.
start doing that.
I
Like, can you go outside? Can you spread your arms? Okay.
I'm going to look you up on social media right now. You say you have 2 kids and 3 grandkids. Let's check that out.
Well, I can kind of see that when it's there he is. I can kind of see that when the price point's like 5 million or above, but
Yeah.
1.2 is kind of the new 500,000.
It is. It is.
Yeah, I was surprised that a lot of people showed up on that house like that. So
Yeah. No offers on it though?
I don't know. Ask the listing agent here, Todd. He's reviewing offers today at 2. You're mute.
Offers are due at 2 o'clock. The meeting I have with the sellers is at 5.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, did you have anything pressing to talk about?
Did you say depressing?
No, pressing.
No, I just got out of the.
You're in real estate. There's nothing depressing in real estate.
I agree. I just got out of a broker interview, and so that's why I'm a little bit late. He had to get in here early.
Do you get to cut your hair now?
No, I'm actually sort of liking it.
Get a ponytail going on.
I actually have a little one. What are we talking about, or what are we discussing this morning?
Just open houses and how we can be a better agent when it comes to that. One of the struggles I had was just learning from my experience that to actually walk the property before and then just do a lot more research when I'm doing an open house so I know the best I can.
Like previewing the property to the day before, looking up recent solds in the neighborhood, having a list of their available competing properties within the same proximity, what has recently went pending and also recently been pending inspection, and identifying and having some questions from the listing broker, if it's not yours, obviously, before that day.
I might even pull up the listing itself and peruse it, and I might even pull up Form 17 if that's available, and peruse it as well.
Kind of like have the buyer's mind. What would I do if I was a buyer? What would I want to know?
Yes.
Some title and escrow will have a home book for you. They used to do that, and you could have all those docs in it.
Yeah, we have a home book in that property too.
Yeah.
So you can order that from your title and escrow on all your listings, but they do charge, I think, $10. At least First American does.
I don't know.
Yeah, most of the home books are pretty, to be quite frank, are pretty lame. Okay?
Yeah.
And so the home book is used as a tool. And so we always take the front cover out of the home book, and we put a specific flyer on the outside of the home book. And we position the home book in an area of the home that we know buying decisions are statistically increased where they're made. Okay.
Mm.
And those are, there's 3 areas of a home statistically that home buyers emotionally will make their decisions. That'll be in the family room
Kitchen.
or the living room off the entryway, typically, a kitchen, and the master bedroom. Now, naturally, you're not going to put the home book in the master bedroom, but that's another area where people make their buying decisions. And those are high emotional impact zones within the property. The high impact emotional zone in the living room is where people gather to relax, to eat their ice cream and dessert as they watch their television shows. A high emotional impact zone in the property is in the kitchen, where the meals are prepared and where sometimes the most heated discussions occur within a family unit. And the other high emotional impact zone is in the master bedroom in regards to intimacy purposes. So um, those are the 3 high emotional impact zones within a property that buyers are going to be making their buying decisions. And so that's what I'm really trying to cue in on when I'm watching a buyer through the property. I'm going to be paying very close attention to them in these 3 high impact emotional zones to try to get a read from them. And so when we're using the home book, if you use a home book, you want to set it up in an area that are going to have those 2 emotional high impact zones, either the kitchen or a living room, not a dining room. Oftentimes, I just drives me insane that sometimes, and I hope that this is but I'm not talking about anyone here, so don't take it derogatorily, when they put their flyers and their business cards in a home book in a dining room. Okay. Now, sometimes you may not have a second best choice, but the first best choice is to drop them in an area that I know there's going to be that high emotional impact zone. Generally, you can see where the television is. Okay, in a living area, this is where people are resting and coming together. So that's how I use my home books when I want to use the home book. Because I know the home book is nothing more than a stopping point. And I try to make the home book really appealing by putting it next to there, because if we can get them to stop and rest in these areas, the more emotionally connected they become to the property. And so the home book is more of a tool to get them to stop in this high emotional impact zone.
What's your idea, Todd, of people sitting on furniture in a house that is occupied? You don't care?
No. I mean, if they want to get their clothes dirty, sitting on somebody else's sofa, that's their business. I don't think it's necessarily parked there. Sometimes I will do that myself and sit down on somebody else's furniture in the kitchen, not in the bedroom, in the living room, and I'll come in there if I sort of see them sort of like I'm not sure. I will take them back to one of these high impact zones, and then ask them, trial closes to determine the temperature of their buying decisions. And if it's like no, then let's just get out of the home.
Well, don't you think if you sit down and relax, it kind of causes them to sit down and relax also, or at least think and breathe for a minute?
I've hung out leaning on the kitchen counter. I've hopped up on the kitchen counter before, and sat on the kitchen counter, with them. They're like all chilling back and, just trying to create the feeling and an atmosphere that, I don't hop up and sit on counters all the time. Okay. Don't take that out of context. It was within the environment of that presentation where it was going to be okay. Okay. So, because they were really chill and relaxed, and he was almost jumping up on the counter himself. So yeah, yes, I would.
Do you use an auto dialer, Todd?
I have two. I have one auto dialer. I carry it with me everywhere I go. my little finger here.
And you froze. You
Yeah,
froze up.
I have one auto dialer, and it's this finger.
Oh, okay. So you don't use an auto dialer system.
I would, if I was in full-time production.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I would absolutely use an auto dialer for geo farming.
Okay.
Oh, without it, that's not even a second thought. I would absolutely do that.
We're looking at auto dialers.
Oh yeah, Redex.
Redex. Okay.
Speaking of the Redex, I signed up for that and I've been fooling around, and maybe we should have this conversation later, but they want me to give them my MLS username and password to log in so that they can put the expireds in. And I thought that was a no-no.
Huh.
Expired listings you can call.
Yeah, but to download them and get them into Redex, they want my username and password.
Well, they're going to have a disclosure in regards to that they only have the ability to use it for that purpose. If you don't want expireds or cancels, I wouldn't. I know the rules is you're not supposed to share that information. Okay, but if you don't want that information, then don't provide it to them.
Well,
So if you wanted the service if you're signing up for Redex and the virtual assistant and you want the pulls of the cancels and the expireds, and they're requesting the password and the user ID, it's okay to do that or not?
Yeah, if you want them to send you that information. I haven't read their disclosures. You'd probably want to read their disclosures, and you'd also want to contact the MLS. But I'm assuming that this is probably a standard protocol for them in order to access the MLS, in order to get that information specifically for you, and then also scrub those lists, because those lists need to be scrubbed. So they're also in a way protecting you by providing you that information, knowing that when you get one, it has already been scrubbed. Otherwise, pull them out yourself and scrub them yourself, and then make the phone calls.
Just out of curiosity, on the Redex, is it an application that it's on your computer, or is it cloud-based where you just log into it?
Jermaine, you want to chime in?
It is not cloud-based. It's on your computer.
Okay.
But you can use it on your cell phone too, right, Jermaine, if you want?
You can have it forward the calls to your cell phone, and you can take all the calls from your phone. You can put on a headset and make the calls from your desktop if you want to forward the number so it's coming from a different number, or if you have a partner who's making calls and you want it to appear as though it's coming from your number, you can do that as well.
Wow.
That's what I was going to poke on. So there's a price for one person to do it. Is there a price if there's like a team to where there's two partners doing it, that it's discounted?
Yes and no. It's $50 for 2,000 leads. If you're doing geo leads, and then you guys can share the same login if you want to. There is a thing that says basically you're only using it for yourself. But I mean, Kevin's used my login to make cold calls before for Loan Depot. So
yeah,
and he had it show up as Loan Depot and his phone number. We just pay for more leads if we ever go over the 2,000, and then the only thing I do is geo leads. I paid for the other stuff before, and I personally didn't use it. So that's all.
Yeah, there's just not a lot, and thank you for your input, Jermaine.
Absolutely.
Douglas, there's just not a lot of canceled and expireds, and so in order for you on a daily basis, first thing in the morning at 7 o'clock or whenever you start your day, before you start your day, this is a preparation before you start your day, because you don't start cooking until you have everything really prepared, and then the actual cooking happens. But I guess you could call preparation part of cooking, but it's really not.
May I add one more thing, Todd?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Also, so I didn't justify paying for expireds and canceled because you can pull all that information directly from the MLS and download it as a comma separated delineated version or CSV. And you can upload that into your call if you have a dialer or no dialer into Redex for free.
Yeah.
So instead of paying the $35 monthly, you can just go in weekly, daily, however frequently you're doing it. Put it in an Excel sheet and upload it for free without paying Redex for it, and then use the dialer if you're using that to make those calls.
Some of the pain in the rear end in working expireds and canceleds, and as well as for sale by owners, you need to check daily whether or not they've been relisted. That is a daily maintenance that you have to undergo in order to make those calls. Otherwise, you could be calling another listing that's a listing that's been listed, a canceled listing that's been listed, and be breaking a rule that could cost you thousands of dollars. So daily in the morning, what I would do is I would have my list of expireds from the previous day, and I'd go through and verify whether or not they'd been relisted. And I'd write the time on each one that I would do so, because that's what I did. And so right now there isn't a lot of them, and it's not going to take you too much time. Even with for sale by owners, we need to be checking whether or not they're listed, because they could be listed with a help you sell, or I should say hope you sell, Savvy Lane discount broker, or some other broker like that. And by calling them, you are in fact breaking a rule, and those Savvy Lanes out there are watching that kind of stuff, because it can turn their business upside down if real estate brokers are soliciting those active listings, which they make $500 or $600 per pop on.
When I first started out, I hit the phone with the expireds and the canceled. But back in the day, that's when the crash was happening, so it was just loaded. But today, like Todd's saying, it's slim pickings, and even then, those folks they're going to get 50 calls the next day that thing expires, and
so let's hit an expired script. Jermaine, you're going to be the expired.
What?
Okay, here we go. Jermaine, ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, I'm looking for Jermaine.
Yeah, you got him.
Hi, Jermaine. This is Todd Fallman with Realty One Group Orca. I'm sure you're getting 1,000 phone calls from real estate brokers. Is that correct?
Jesus, you're the 15th person to call, and it's just 9 a.m.
And it's just 9 a.m. I have a way to make all these phone calls stop.
You changed my number?
No, to hire me, and I can make all these phone calls stop. In addition to that, I can get your home sold. So what time this afternoon or tomorrow would be the best time to meet?
Well, what are you going to do different than the last guy? I was on for 60 days and nothing happened.
Okay, first thing I'll do is I'll get your home sold, and I will work for you. So I don't know, what is it that you want to hear?
Well, we took it off and let it go because we didn't really want to move in the winter. And I think we can get a better price in the spring.
Well, you didn't get it, did you?
Well, damn it, no.
Well, the price is the price with the property. You're going to be buying in the market you're selling in. I can't guarantee that I want to get your home sold, but I'll guarantee that you won't have to deal with what you're dealing with now. Fortunately or unfortunately, you're in this situation. I can help you get out of it if you're willing to talk to me about 35 minutes. I'm not going to guarantee it's going to be a positive outcome because I haven't seen your house. But I know one thing that is for sure, Jermaine, is that if I do take your listing and you allow me to work for you, you will not have this experience again.
Okay.
Where are you moving to, Jermaine?
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plains, Todd.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'll make sure to get into character when I arrive.
All right.
That's basically, I just try to get right to the business real quickly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I like that. Absolutely. Just
Sort of just roll with it. For those that have heard me prospect before, that's pretty much how it goes. And Jose's shaking his head. He's heard it and seen it. And Mike, you saw a little bit of it over the weekend, and Werner, you saw me make some calls as well. That's I pretty much get right into the business and then create the relationship.
You know what I do want to see, Todd, though?
What's up?
Back in your weird days where you had your two phones and your shirt off and stuff.
Oh yeah, I used to get really crazy in my prospecting. I'd have two phones. I'd dial two phones at the same time with a stand-up desk in my private office, and I get sort of crazy and wild, and sometimes I would take off my shirt and be sitting there prospecting in my office with my suit and tie on a hanger hanging on the back of my door with some rock and roll music going on in the background, and I would hit those phones. Just like, it wasn't all the time, but sometimes I'm like, the suit's not feeling comfortable today, and so yeah. Hey, if you're not spending money to create inbound sales calls, then create outbound sales calls. You have to be contacting somebody sometime, or your pipeline is going to be dry, and then you'll be out of business. And regarding the various forms of lead generation, I think I've mentioned this before. We need to diversify our lead generation assets. You don't want to invest totally into one thing when you're brand new or want to grow in this business. If you want to grow and expand your business and bring more people into the fold, you need to fill your pipeline. To fill your pipeline, if you were to come to me as a brand new broker, and many of you have, and you say, Todd, I want to do some business. I'm like, okay, what did I say? We're going to go to the buffet. In other words, what you're going to do is you're going to invest your time and your energy into all these different avenues of lead generation: open houses, door knocking, cold calling, networking, past clients, centers of influence. You're going to be using all these. I didn't just say all you're going to do is open houses and forget about everything else. No, you're going to learn to diversify. And if you can learn to diversify the investment of your time and your energy, you're going to have a more rounded, well-built pipeline of business. Then once you have your pipeline built up, you're going to identify certain aspects of where your strengths are at, and then you'll find that investment and complete that. However, if you want to grow and expand and grow and expand, you're going to have to be looking outside of that one original investment, and sometimes take some risky investments. But that's going to, after you're established a little bit, maybe you can put some time and investment into a high risk stock that may yield some return. But if you're brand new in the business, you don't necessarily want to drop all your dimes into this high risk stock, the new shiny object that all the title reps try to sell us, all those other reps out there that say, this is the thing, this is the thing, this is the thing. All you need to do is buy these postcards and send them out and wait for the phone to ring. Okay, what a bunch of garbage. That does work to a certain degree, but it does not work if you want to build your pipeline. And so if you want to grow, sure, you want to be doing some of that stuff, but that is not the only thing you're going to be doing, because you're giving yourself a false sense of security in your lead generation efforts if all you're doing is sitting around spending money on fancy postcards waiting for somebody to call you. Unless you have a really deep pocket and time to develop that relationship with the people that are receiving your postcards, you will get there eventually. But for the newcomer into this business, it's a very risky investment to go all in on postcards. It drives me absolutely insane when title reps come and sell you these freaking postcards when you're brand new into the business. And they say, this is all you need to do. I got this. You're going to send them out to these certain people, and these certain people, by the way, no one else is marketing to these people. Yeah, right. Okay. They all share the same list, the same broke. I get, if you go to your mailbox, you're going to see brokers sending you information, different brokers sending you information. I get postcards in my mailbox by 3 or 4 different real estate brokers. Okay. And guess what? Sometimes the same people that you're sending your stuff to are getting 3 or 4 other people sending them to those two, because the same title rep, I have nothing against title reps. They have a business, but their business is to sell their stuff to you so they can get the title stuff. They're saying the same thing to everybody else that they're talking to about, I've got these lists of people, and my list of people are better than their list of people, and their list of people are okay, but I've got this. Anyways, nothing against title reps. They're doing their job, but don't invest totally into that. If you're brand new and you want to build up your sales pipeline, you got to be making phone calls. You got to be out there social networking. You got to be doing social media. You got to do instant messaging. You have to be emailing. You have to email campaigns. You need to be texting. You need to be having open houses. You need to be doing home buyer education. You need to be doing door knocking. You need to diversify the investment of your time to build up that pipeline. And so you're not left high and dry, spending all your money going, I'm not getting any business. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. Just diversify.
Okay, Todd, I'll do my prospecting.
Okay, this was a coaching call for Jose, by the way. Everyone else just, you got to hear what I'm talking to. Okay, Jose, did you get it?
One quick question in regards
Don't
to
put all your eggs in one basket.
in regards to the Redex leads, am I able to ask
And once you
for
get to a certain level, like Mary Lee, Jim and myself, you can take calculated risks sometimes into some different areas that if it doesn't work out, it's not going to put you out of business.
in regards to the Redex leads, am I able to get the leads narrowed down to some kind of demographic or some kind of, rather than just 2,000 phone numbers?
You can narrow it down by address, zip code, city, and how long they've lived in the house for.
Boom. Okay.
Do you hear that, Snowgrove?
So I can get 5-year-old. Okay. That'd be beautiful. Okay. And then, yeah, okay.
Yep. Hey, great call, man. You get me all fired up on this stuff, man. Woo!
I'm going to edit this part out. But I do have a
shirt
question.
on.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jose.
Hey, keep your shirt on.
No, Jose. No, never mind, Jose.
3 or 4 people could theoretically, hypothetically speaking, partner up and split out 500 leads under one account. Is that right?
Yep. Or you could be like Michael Snowgrove and just take all those 2,000 and make those calls in 3 months.
Oh, and if you're doing it monthly, you get 2,000 every month.
Oh God, dude, you're.
Okay.
Boy, I need a drool bid. Honestly, I mean, seriously, you probably can't see that, but my mouth is just watering. I mean, what an easy, cost-effective way to fill your pipeline.
Yeah, and if you wanted pressure, it's if you don't use them, you lose them.
I do have a question. So if I wanted to call in the afternoon, what would be about the best time you guys would feel would be a good time to make the calls in the afternoon?
Okay, let me answer that.
After 9, before 9 p.m.
Jermaine's on it, man. Jermaine's on it.
He jumped right in there and took the ball from you, Todd. I love it.
Yeah, he grabbed. I know he grabbed that rebound right in front of me.
Knocked it right out of the air.
I was like, okay, you got it. All right,
and then Jim's working on something really exciting. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but it's pretty cool.
All right. Well, awesome meeting today. God, we covered, just to recap a little bit of stuff, diversifying our lead generation in order to grow a pipeline, some hot spots, emotional hot spots within a open house, and the ease and the availability of call lists.
No, I've told you in the very beginning when we partnered up that I was going to take my growth to another level. Out of 11 years, I've never, well, I shouldn't say never. The very, very, very beginning, I called expireds with Denise. but I got away from cold calling, and I'm gonna push myself into this. I'm gonna give it a whirl. I'm gonna get out of my comfort level.
Yeah. Hey, you've heard me say this time and time again. If I were to give you the sharpest axe in the world and say you got 1,000 swings and chops at this tree, it's not going to guarantee that you're going to take the tree down. Because you could chop up here, chop down here, chop over here. But if you every day, whatever lead generation forces, you just take the shot one day, same spot, every day, and not over here, not over here, not over here, not over here. Every day you put some investment into whatever lead generation you're doing. Every day, just like that, you have the highest chance of knocking down that tree.
I like that analogy.
And guess what? Here's another thing. Who's hungrier, the wolf on top of the hill or the wolf climbing the hill? Who's hungrier? If you're not climbing, get on a different hill. Go for a different mountain. Be hungry. I got to eat some breakfast. See you guys.
Swing for the fence.
Woo!